Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor, star of the current iteration of the iconic 58-year-old British sci-fi show Doctor Who. Now, this is a franchise which many people love and hold dear to them, but it was torn down the middle on the 16th of July 2017, when we were all told the news that the next Doctor would be Jodie Whittaker of Broadchurch fame. Not only is Jodie the first female Doctor, but she is the first Doctor of this new Chibnall-run era. But the big questions still remain. Is she a good Doctor? Is she as good as the actors who came before her? What's the problem with the current iteration of the show? And can a female take on the role of this iconic character? Today I'm going to be diving in depth into my personal opinions on Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. Now, first off, I want to make it explicitly clear, I don't hate Chibnall or this new era of the show. Nor do I think it's perfect or the best thing since sliced bread. But most importantly, I am perfectly okay with a female Doctor, as long as the performance is okay, and the actress and writer understand and capture the essence of the Doctor. The gender to me makes no difference whatsoever. I don't agree at all with people who say the Doctor is a white male and a white male only. To those people I say, no. The Doctor is a time-travelling alien from the deep depths of space who can be whatever he or she wants. With that out of the way, I'm going to jump in straight into my first point. Let's start on a high with one of my biggest praises of the 13th Doctor. She is no longer Space Jesus. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, no longer will random people stand around and gape at the Doctor doing something as mundane as eating soup. This can be seen in Hellbent. No longer can the Doctor turn armies around at the mention of his name. No longer is the Doctor known as the oncoming storm, the bringer of darkness, and other such ridiculous titles.
The Doctor has walked in blood through all of time and space. The Doctor has many names. The Imp of the Pandorica, the Shadow of the Valiard, the Beast of Trenzalore, the Butcher of Skull Moon, the Last Tree of Garthanob, the Destroyer
The Doctor
of
is
Skara.
just
He
a
is the
traveller,
Doctor.
and when people need help, she never refuses.
I'm just a traveller. Sometimes I see things need fixing, do what I can. When people need help, I never refuse.
While admittedly cool and epic, this trope of the Doctor being the space equivalent of Jesus, it got old quite quickly. Peter Capaldi's speech from Death in Heaven is also one of my favourites, as it perfectly encapsulates, fundamentally, who the Doctor is and what he stands for.
I am not a good man. And I'm not a bad man. I am not a hero. I'm definitely not a president. And no, I'm not an officer. You know what I am? I am an idiot with a box and a screwdriver. Just passing through, helping out, learning. I don't need an army. I never have, because I've got them. Always them. Because love, it's not an emotion.
He is not Jesus, as, just in the classic series, he is someone who stumbles into situations and helps out where he can. Now, this is definitely down to Chibnall's writing. One thing that he deserves praise for is making the Doctor Who universe feel much, much bigger. As pointed out by the Council of Geeks, some scenes from Moffat's era can handle the Jesus Doctor quite well, such as Extremis, where the guards have to look up the Doctor's identity and his mortality kill rate, or The 11th Hour, where the Atraxi run from the 11th Doctor after he tells them that Earth is defended. In conclusion, I like the fresh start that the 13th Doctor has been given, and it makes the universe feel so much bigger. Now, onto a more negative aspect. One of the main problems I have with Jodie's 13th Doctor is her poor delivery of lines and what I believe to be a misunderstanding of the Doctor's character. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, when delivering nonsense comedic lines, Jodie always portrays them as fully serious and factual, whereas other Doctors, such as Peter Capaldi, are clearly joking and are speaking rubbish to calm those around him. This can be seen in the clip from the Zygon inversion, where Osgood points out this feature of the Doctor's character. Whereas these
Sonic specs?
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit pointless? Like a visual hearing aid? You're talking nonsense to distract me from being really scared. It's one of your known character traits.
nonsense lines from Jodie are delivered in a way where she seems to be serious. For example, this line from Resolution.
Thank you. Take these. 3 a minute for 4 minutes. Don't take with alcohol, you'll grow an extra head. That was an embarrassing party.
Rather than being a throwaway joke, her performance implies what she's saying is serious and a truth. Another example of this is in The Ghost Monument. Jodie, when she's talking about having Pythagoras' sunglasses. Also, this clip from 2018's Children in Need, which is genuinely awful.
You know Earth's not the only planet to have comet relief, right? I just wanted to let you know. If you're donating on Earth and you're a UK taxpayer, please say yes when asked. Are you a UK taxpayer? And your donation will be increased by 25% thanks to gift aid. While, if you're donating on Quixar Pantagorus, please remember we're no longer accepting donations in Trinities, only Kavlons and Crins, please. So to recap, let's make every penny count. Please say yes to gift aid and we can get an extra 25p for every pound you donate. That's doctor's orders. And thank you.
This to me seems like a performance issue and Jodie misinterpreting the fundamentals of the character. Stephen Moffat once said that the way you write the Doctor doesn't change much, but it's the performance of the actor that shines through. One reason I believe Peter Capaldi is the best Doctor is his complete and utter understanding of who the Doctor is and how he would act in every situation. But that's not to say that Jodie is all bad. No. There are definite moments where she shows that she is the Doctor. One of these is her physical appearance and the way she smiles. This can be seen just after she regenerates in Twice Upon a Time. That smile is truly one of the Doctor. Sometimes the look on her face is enough to remind the audience of who she is and her long and mysterious past. That, I'd say, is a problem with Jodie's understanding of the Doctor's nature, but this doesn't mean she can't act. As shown in this clip, she is brilliant at dramatic speeches and shouting.
Home for the rest of time! I shall see so many of my relations there. I am the last, the unhappiest, I think, and the youngest. But my father will be there to meet me at the door. And my mother will smile and hold me close as she always did. And my brother, he will be glad to see me more than all the rest. At each fresh grave, my hands sprinkled the earth. At each, I poured the purifying.
Yet, Chibnall never, throughout her first 11 episodes at least, gives her a serious threat to shout at. The closest we get to her shouting is this from her meeting with a Dalek in Resolution. Now, compare these two clips of newly regenerated Doctors meeting their iconic enemy for the first time. Yeah, they're pretty different, right? I can't help but think this is down to Chibnall's writing and directing. He's not pushing Jodie to do better. Equally, Jodie should be able to do more with what she's given. To me, it seems Jodie's just had a quick glance at Matt Smith and David Tennant's interpretations
one
of
aspect of the Doctor
and then
which
given
Jodie
Jodie
nails
nails
perfectly
perfectly is her social awkwardness. Whether it be her berating Ryan's dad for his parenting deficit, or Yaz's dad for his terrible pecory, or constantly referring to her friends as her team, gang, fam.
Hi, team! Gang!
Asking Yaz to put the lights and sirens on. Although divisive, I actually enjoy these moments of comedy and think that Jodie delivers them well, similar to the likes of Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi. It also helps in making her feel more alien, which is always a positive, unlike David Tennant's Doctor, who seemed far less like a weird time-travelling alien and more like a dashing young human hero. This leaves me annoyed, as I feel, with just a bit more knowledge of the character and research and direction from the production team, Jodie could do so much better and be a Doctor we won't forget anytime soon. Another key aspect of the show is the visual look of the Doctor, TARDIS and their trusty sonic screwdriver, which, sadly, none of these are great in the Chibnall era. Let's start with the costume of the 13th Doctor, which, similar to Colin Baker's 6th Doctor, is awkward and a little too extreme. By no means is 13's costume on the level of obnoxious 6's was, but it still leaves a lot to be desired. Looking back on previous Doctor's costumes, they are all iconic. Jodie does have the silhouette, but the costume itself feels too bright and a mishmash of clothes. And yes, I get that she took all these clothes from a charity shop, but realistically, can you go into a charity shop and exit looking like that? Probably not. For example, look at the last few Doctor's costumes. Eccleston with his leather jacket and jumper, Tennant with his scruffy suit and Converse, Smith with his tweed jacket and bow tie, Capaldi with his hoodies under a coat. Now, one thing all these costumes have in common is they would look natural if you were to see someone walking down the street in them. To the extent where I even wear my Capaldi coat and hoodie out in public all the time. The look of the Doctor is important, and I think it's a big shame that Jodie was not able to keep the costume she had in the reveal trailer from back in 2017. This look suited both her and the Doctor in my opinion. Now, Jodie's Sonic. I don't have too much to say on this, and I get what they were going for, but I feel this homemade Sheffield steel Sonic should have been replaced early on in season 11, in favour of a better and more memorable design. Now, the final iconography of the show, which isn't great at the moment, is the TARDIS console room. I have to admit though, the outside of the box is one of, if not my favourite exterior of all time. But sadly, the same cannot be said for the console room inside, which looks less like a sci-fi machine and more like a dark and dingy cave. In my opinion, a TARDIS looks best when it looks more industrial and a large room with long corridors and a steampunk style theme, looking truly bigger on the inside, which Jodie's current TARDIS fails to do. It's similar to Tennant's and Eccleston's, which I don't like either of them. Sorry, I get that's an unpopular opinion, but they're not as big on the inside as they could be. They're too small and dark. To improve this console room, they should maybe add more lights and clearer walls and corridors, lighting up the room even more. In conclusion, I believe Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor is not a brilliant Doctor, but by no means is she bad, and if I'm honest, I think most of these faults lie with Chris Chibnall, who is not giving Jodie enough to work with, but I also feel Jodie needs to research the character of the Doctor, as I feel a lot of potential has been lost. Hopefully though, she can manage to pull a better Doctor off in season 12 and the following seasons if she stays on for them. Luckily though, she has managed to maintain the Doctor's principles which Capaldi set out for her. At the end of the day, she's the Doctor, whether you like it or not. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe, ask for more content. Maybe I'll do more video essays in the future. And once again, I'm going to plug our fan film, Doctor Who The Return of Omega. Link in description. It would be greatly appreciated if you could check it out. Anyway, thank you for watching and goodbye.